Scorpios, welcome to my channel. This is going to be a look at what the next 72-hour window has in store for you. I'm going to be doing this reading a little bit different today. I'm going to be using two new decks. We're going to start off with the green cards as the overarching energy. And then we'll go into this oracle deck right here and see what your spiritual team has to say. Direct messages from them. And then we'll, of course, go into the tarot and do about a 6-card spread or so. Okay. What is the energy around my Scorpios for the next 72 hours? I got candle wax on one of these cards. Oh my gosh. All right, let's get into it. So let's go ahead and get into the green cards first. We have shine. Okay, it's time for you to put yourself out there, Scorpios. This is the time where being unapologetically you is the best thing that you can do. And people around you may be intimidated by this. You could have certain people where they don't want to hang out as much, or they're expecting more out of you, especially if you're making certain strides within your life and you've been more intentional about who you've been spending time with. You could find that people are trying to bring you down to size, like trying to, you know, almost try to force you back into a box. So be mindful of certain people who are trying to do this to you. Also, there could be certain things that you're realizing about a relationship, a friendship, a family dynamic. Someone could be showing their true colors. Now, this could be in a positive sense, or this could be, you know, more so in a negative sense. Now, we also have master. So this does talk about mastering your emotional self and also your heart chakra to a degree. There could be strong feelings and care that you have for certain individuals, and you've been realizing that the more that you care about them, the more that you try to go out of your way for them, it starts to become a situation where it's like hurting you, especially when it comes to going back or allowing certain individuals back into your energy who have, you know, maybe taken advantage of the fact that you care about them so much and not appreciate it. I think that you're at a place to where you're really trying to master your emotions in regards to not feeling guilty for doing what's in your best interest in those scenarios, okay? It also talks about holding back from urges that our emotions may kind of push us into whenever we're frustrated or angry, or we feel, you know, shame or guilt or wronged. Now, I also have challenging times. So if there has been some challenging energy, I think that this has been, with the way that this card even looks, a sign of your own ability to kind of push through challenges and obstacles that you're faced with. And during this time frame, you could be also realizing what has been the challenge all along. If this is in a relationship, there's been this, I gotta protect me, you gotta protect you thing going on. And there's this defensiveness that may exist that creates this resistance or challenge. Or for others of you, you could be realizing what's been challenging is the transition that you've been pushed into. And you've been trying to protect what you've built, not knowing that there could be even more that you're being offered by your spiritual team, by God at this moment, to elevate. And you don't need to protect something that doesn't resonate with your long-term journey. Now, we also have daydreams and decisions. You could have a lot of random ideas come to you, especially if you are a business owner. You could find yourself like thinking of a really cool business idea or business product that could essentially like really take your business to the next level if you're writing it down and actually executing it. You could also be out of this phase of just kind of sitting and reflecting on things and more of in a space of just doing what needs to be done. I see you being very decisive during this time frame. Now let's go deeper. First card we have representing the general energy for you Scorpios, we have the Queen of Wands. So there could be an Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo of significance. This could also talk about your energy where, again, you could be a lot more straight to the point and not really sugarcoating your point of view, your feelings anymore. You could also be a lot more decisive where it's like, okay, this what needs to get done, I'm about to get it done. Now, there also may be someone around you who could be a bit frustrated. The Queen of Wands to me feels like a frustration card for some reason. There's someone who could be frustrated. There's someone who wants to take action in even conversating with you or communicating with you, but they may not know how to actually go about this. So they could be either holding off from doing this. They could be more passive aggressive in trying to do it, like maybe liking your pictures and stuff like that, but not necessarily hitting you up, or watching your stories, but not necessarily saying anything. It's like trying to passively hint to the fact that they want to communicate, or that they, still are checking for you. Now, when it comes to career and finance, I have the Temperance card in reverse. So you may be getting to a place of impatience. For my Scorpios who are looking for a job, you could be a bit impatient when it comes to the process of you getting hired, or you hearing back from certain places that you've applied to, interviewed for. It's just a slower process. For others of you with the current job that you have, you're more so at a place to where you're a bit overwhelmed with like the mechanics of how the job is being ran. You could feel like they don't give you any grace, they don't give you any sense of patience, but you have to be overly patient for them in ways where it's starting to become an annoyance. Also, some of you have been looking to get a raise or a promotion, and you've been waiting for them to actually like make this happen, and you may be at a place to where you just don't know how much more patience you have to wait. Now, with love specifically, we have the Six of Cups. So you could be reflective. With my single Scorpios, you could be more reflective on where you came from, your past relationships as a whole, and just kind of taking the wisdom from it, especially when it comes to a family dynamic. You may be reflecting on like, okay, where did things go wrong? Why is this, person I have children with still angry at me? Is it because of X, Y, and Z from the past? There's a lot of reflective energy. Okay. For my Scorpios who are in a relationship, you could be at a place to where like your person and you could be trying your hardest to beat the past. And what I mean by that is there's been a lot of like reoccurring themes that keep coming up based off of the past, and there's a lot of conversation around like, okay, let's move on from it, let's try to move past it. And it's been a journey, and it's just this question of like, can we actually do this, or have we just reached a point to where things are just the way that they are? Now, going into what I see for the advice, with the Seven of Cups, it's important that you're not letting temporary emotions that you feel all throughout this time frame move you in a way where it's like making you cloudy in judgment, or it's making you emotionally disheveled. Also, be mindful of other people who are presenting illusions to look like certain things and trying to make things seem a certain way, to where they're trying to rope you into fake opportunities, for example, or trying to, fake like they feel certain ways when they really don't. Like, if there's anything that's off, give it enough time for it to have the smoke clear for you to see what's actually going on, is the message here. Now, going into what I see with the challenge, I have the Page of Swords. So the challenge during this time frame for you could be someone watching your social media and not really saying anything, or giving you like funny vibes from them watching your social media. This could feel like a monitoring a spirit in a person, okay, where they're just watching your stuff and not saying anything. This could also talk about someone who's very petty in the way that they communicate, or the way that they go about handling things. And whenever they want to talk, you gotta talk. But when you want to communicate, get answers, understanding they may not necessarily want to give you that. Someone also could just be acting questionable during this time frame. It's like, what's going on with you? Something's off. There may be someone who's communicating less with you during this time frame, switching up their patterns of behavior. Now, going into the outcome, I have the Knight of Cups. Oh, before we even go into the outcome, another challenge could be just overthinking, okay? This is not the time to be sitting on ideas and contemplating what ifs. This is a time where taking action on those what ifs is necessary. But anywho, going into the outcome, the Knight of Cups here, you could be focused on yourself. There could be some days where overall in this time frame, emotionally, you're clear, creative, driven, and then some days maybe just feeling like you want to withdraw. The Knight of Cups also talks about someone else. There could be someone who's trying to offer you something, some sort of opportunity, an apology, an invite to go somewhere, someone trying to pursue you. This could be like someone newer or someone you've dealt with before, but they're a bit inconsistent in how they show up. They may, pop in and out basically. Now, let's go deeper. Let's look at what the messages are from your spiritual team. So we have focus on the present. As it's here that change occurs. And we also have listen to your intuition and then listen again. Nice. So your spiritual team, the message from them is to be present with the present, because there's so much goodies, opportunities in being here instead of being way in the future, trying to project what you think will happen based off of what has happened, which is not an accurate way of maneuvering through life, or to maneuver through life in a successful way, at least. And your intuition is going to speak loud enough for you to listen. Just give it enough time. You can't really let your intuition speak to you if you're letting your emotions rule your focus, or you're letting your emotions cloud your ability to even hear your intuition as a whole, or even hear your spiritual team, to hear God. But this is what I see. I hope that this was helpful and to give you insight. If you enjoyed, definitely thumbs up the video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, Scorpios.